Welcome everybody to Four Dragons Fireside Chats October edition episode 2. Today we are going to have a special guest with us, Anu from ServiceNow. She's going to talk about some of the internal challenges that they've had over the past to implement ServiceNow internally, specifically around ITOM. So Anu, will you give a quick introduction for people who are not familiar with you, right?
Sure. Hey everyone, this is Anu. I'm from ServiceNow. I have been ServiceNow with almost 8 years now. Wore multiple hats, right? I have wore a hat of a business systems analyst, then developer, then being the product manager, and now I'm on the business side. So making sure I use our own products and implement for our own. Maybe it's getting operational excellence, productivity gains, anything, right? Driving the big bold outcomes using our own products is my goal and vision. I've been with the ServiceNow platform more than a decade now, right? 8 years almost with ServiceNow, but I've worked using these products almost more than 15 years, I would say now. Started with previous versions, right? Now we are on Zurich. It has been a ride, it has been a journey, and would love to share some of my experiences today with you all.
Oh, wow, wow. That's a long time being on the platform. You've kind of got me beat in a few things too, right? So
Yeah.
some of you may know I've been doing this for 10 years. So I've never been a customer. I've always implemented. So it's good to hear stories from how people started and where they're at today and where they might go in the future, right? It definitely is a rocket ship, if some people are saying, right? So
Yeah.
ServiceNow drinks their own champagne, right? So,
Yeah.
with that being said, I'm sure you guys encountered some challenges along the way, right? So, for example, you've implemented your own product. So, could you kind of go into that detail on maybe what you've implemented? What are some of the gotchas out there and the challenges, and how did you overcome some of those things?
Yeah, I think I'll tell you a brief story, right? When I joined ServiceNow, I joined in 2017, I would say. I started in 2016 as a contractor and then full time in 2017, right? I'm blessed to have that given that role. When we joined, right, I was kind of one single person as a business analyst working on multiple tracks, right? Whether it's ITSM, ITOM, SecOps, right? And it was a nuance also at that time, right? Because you have multiple
Yeah,
stakeholders, you have to work with multiple people,
yeah,
not just from a product standpoint, but also from implementation standpoint, right? And then eventually over time, we figured out the first thing is an organizational change. In a sense, I would say is you need to have a dedicated people working on the streams. If
yes,
I'm
yes, you
working on
do.
ITOM, if you pick someone from an ITSM background, they might not be able to relate ITOM, right? Because one thing in ITOM very specifically is before you start implementing, it's just that you don't need to know the ServiceNow product itself. You need to have a domain knowledge, how network works, how server works, right? So that you can put your best foot forward and just enable ITOM for yourself, right? Then
Yeah,
the second piece, right, which we encountered and which I know for sure is we start implementing products. Even we did it. We implemented CMDB way back, right? Like when it just came out, what CMDB was, right? A hit, right? You have to have your own CIs in inventory. We started that journey where CI was implemented. And then at certain point of time, we realized now it's a very backend story, like not recent, but we realized it's all junk. The data is not useful, right? And then we took a step back and understood, hey, what we did wrong, right? Something, right? Because the product work, we definitely know
yeah,
we did something wrong, that, hey, we have duplicates, we have stale CIs, right? And then that was a big learning for us. And today I go at Knowledge or other world forums and I present it to the customers, hey, we need to take a step back. And before you start implement any product, whether it's CMDB, event management, whether it's ITSM, change management, you need to think about governance first.
yes, yes,
Exactly, right? So how you're gonna put all the guardrails in place, how you're gonna govern your processes, how you're gonna govern your ServiceNow instance itself, right? If we don't think about it and we keep it for a later date, then that's what takes us back, maybe a years back, right? Then we start our journey again. So
yeah.
that's one learning specifically we had in a CMDB space. And now today we are 99% clean. We have governance, we have data certification in place, right? So we make sure the data we have today is clean and is useful because that is the foundation. And that will be used by all other systems that are built on top of it, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it.
And I'm sure a lot of customers out there can relate to that exact
Yeah.
scenario, right? It kind of built onto our first episode that we had around CMDB, right? So we encounter so many customers that have that same exact challenge. They
Yeah.
start it, but they don't have the governance around it. And
Yeah.
they end up seeing the challenges behind it, but also untrustworthy. It's not they doesn't
Exactly.
support their operations. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and I've got a lot of customers just recently that we've gone through re-implementations trying to fix some of these things, right? Because to your point
Yeah.
is, what did they do wrong? Where did we fall apart, right? And what ends up
Yeah.
happening is, a lot of customers think that you start discovery and it's just a magic button, right? It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It is
And every
care and
customer
feed.
is looking for, hey, what are the best practices, what we should do, right? And as a now and implementing our own products, we learn so many things on the go, right? Like nobody might
Yeah.
have realized it. And that's why, like, drinking our own champagne, we are called ourselves, our team is called Customer Zero as well, right? We try out things, and sometimes we try out things before even it gets released to the product, right? So we can give feedback and we can make it better for the customers in a whole, right? So that's the whole objective behind it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, better for you guys to fail than the customer, right? So,
Yes.
no, that's terrific, and thanks for sharing that story. Because again, a lot of our customers can definitely relate to that. I know I can attest to that to myself, even though I'm not never been a customer, but I've worked with so many customers that
Yeah.
has that same kind of sentiment, right? So, but
Yeah.
looking back, let's kind of take a look at some of the single biggest benefits or maybe breakthroughs that your team has kind of achieved over time, right? Specifically around ITOM. Can you share some of those?
Sure. I think especially when we talk about ITOM, obviously we get into visibility, right? Discovery, service graph connectors, all that, right? When we talk about ITOM visibility, then we talk about ITOM health, right? And then all that stuff. But when we bring it all together, right? For my team specifically, I'll talk about my team. What benefit we have achieved is having a single pane of glass or having a single view for our command center. So we have onboarded command center now, right? So think about it, right? If I give you a live scenario from my situation, we have multiple monitoring tools today. We have Catchpoint for synthetic monitoring. We have Logic Monitor, right? We have others, right? Lightstep, we are using ServiceNow Lightstep. But if I have to ask people, hey, I am monitoring, let's say my hardware or network devices in Logic Monitor, and the command center has to always log in there. Hey, let me see if everything is working well or how it's the event. And then if you have to have monitoring in place, sending some events, right? Okay, you have to configure separate tools, right? There are multiple tools. You have Splunk, you can actually have Splunk as well, right?
Yeah.
For event management. So what we have done is we have integrated all our monitoring tools with ServiceNow platform. So
Wow.
having just one event management system to be in place and all of them are integrated. So now imagine, right, when command center has to go, they don't have to, like, I don't even have to train them on 10 different products or tools. Hey, you need to know this. What they need to know is how event management and ServiceNow works. They get their events assigned from there, they get their tickets assigned from there, right? And then we have event correlation in place. So getting to a root cause becomes really easier when you have an event correlation in place rather than you just handle multiple platforms separately, right? So your
Yeah.
adoption time, right, your enablement time gets reduced when you have that single pane of glass for everything. And I think that's the biggest value that we have achieved using ITOM, because then when an event is created, CMDB is the foundation.
Exactly.
You relate a CI to it, right? Then on top of it, you can have service mapping, which will tell you, hey, what is going to be the impact if I'm getting this event? So, and you can prioritize your events in that way, right?
Right.
Which is critical, right? What if it is impacting a critical application? You can clearly see from your service map and like, okay, this is a P1 for me and not
Yeah.
a P3. So I think getting that end-to-end visibility and then correlation of that CIs to an event and having your command center just work on one set of data, whether you have an SAP issue, whether it's an infrastructure issue, everything is ServiceNow platform. I think that for me is one big thing we have achieved, and I'm really proud of that, I would say.
And you really should be proud of that.
Yeah,
And some of our customers don't even get that far. It's like
exactly.
they stand up foundation and support the ITSM process, but that's about it, right? So when you talk to our customers and or even our partners talk to our customers, we really need to paint that picture, right? That single pane of glass picture. And what is that bringing to that customer, right? Great, you started your foundation. Fantastic. We're a year into this thing. What's next, right?
Yeah, yeah,
What else can you do with that, right?
yeah.
And event management is a fantastic use case for this because you got to take action, right? So what happens
Yes,
most customers, what happens is it's already too late, right? So it's
exactly.
already
Yeah,
happened. You filed an incident. It's already broken.
yeah,
But what if you can extend that into ServiceNow and ServiceNow starts to do that analysis and gives
yeah,
you like a heads up, like, hey, something's not right here. Let's go ahead
yeah,
and raise this, right? And I'm sure you guys
yeah,
encountered that internally, right? So being more
exactly.
proactive with things so that you
Yeah,
have more
and that's what
uptime
event
or
management helps, right? And that's what I was about to say. The exact word you said is like being proactive, right? And specifically, if all your systems are integrated, right? I'll just give you another example, very recent one, right? Like we are on a Zoom call or a Teams call, as right, and it suddenly drops. Hey, we had an issue with Zoom. Now, whether it was an issue with the hardware or the Zoom app itself, because it's a SaaS app, right? Something can go wrong.
yeah,
If you don't have the event correlation in place, you will take maybe hours just to
yeah,
get to the root cause and identify what exactly made, like, why this problem occurred, right? So I think just to fast track and just to improve the mttr your teams are spending, I think that's the
hmm
first outcome that you can look for, right? And
yeah.
that eventually will get to productivity gains for the entire team. So and whenever I do, like, some of times I talk to the customers, right, present the now on sessions, present my story, hey, how we are implementing our own products. I think sometimes the customer gets scared. Hey, and the first question they ask, hey, how long it will take for me to get there? What you are doing, right? And my
Yeah,
always response is, you just start somewhere. We were not there where we are today. If you think about like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years back, right?
yeah,
But if we are struggling today, that doesn't mean we'll always struggle, right? Just start small, right? We always say, right? Crawl, walk, run.
exactly.
So just start somewhere, start small. Once you start seeing the benefit, you will automatically feel like where you want to scale, right? So I think that's
Yeah.
that's the message. Start somewhere, start small.
Just execute, right? So just do something, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
I tell a lot of my customers like small is better than trying to boil the ocean here, right? Because you're
exactly.
not going to be able to boil the ocean the first go around, right? So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
kind of pick our first kind of top five that we want to deal with, then kind of work our way up, right? And
exactly. Yeah.
breaking
It's
it into
gonna,
more
yeah,
manageable chunks. Yes.
yeah, it's gonna be a journey, and I think we just need to take one step forward at a time and towards that journey. I think that's gonna help everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's always a phased approach, no matter no matter what you're doing, it's you got to take one step at a time and bringing that into light and helping the organization understand through the change process and everything else. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you kind of touched on that. I'm glad to hear that ServiceNow has the same challenges our customers are having. So
Yeah. Yeah.
fantastic. So we talked about what you guys done, what the past has done, but let's talk about the future. Where do you see ITOM? I'm sure AI has a big play into this and how it could be more efficient and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit. Can you share some information on that?
Sure. I think the big vision or the big bold outcome that IT or DT, we call it digital technology, now has set them for themselves. I would say ServiceNow has set up for themselves is being autonomous IT, right? That's what we are headed. We might take some time to be there, right? But that's our North Star. We definitely want to reach there. And I think ITOM plays as a foundation for that, right?
Yeah,
Think about it. You have your foundation laid out, right? You have observability. You can predict or proactively identify which events are coming, right? On top of it, you use AI to build anomaly detection. And eventually, you have agentic workers. Now, hey, I'll just take the same example. Hey, Zoom is not working. Okay, I got an alert that, hey, this is not working. And instead of a human agent working on it, we have agentic workers playing the persona of a command center person, right? And then just execute what needs to be done and then just remediate, right? So building that autonomous IT is the North Star, and that's where we want to go, whether it's any life cycle of a software development, right? Whether it's strategy, decision making, whether it's development, anywhere. And especially in ITOM area. I think observability and having the foundation like CMDB event management are core. And now we are gonna merge and let's say augment it with agentic frameworks, agentic AI, and that will help us achieve that goal of autonomous IT. And I think as part of the autonomous IT, I think the value we are trying is like self-healing, right?
Yeah.
Self-healing is really crucial for us at this point. We already are heading towards like zero service test journey. We already achieved that big bold outcome. So as a service now for us, moving toward autonomous IT and build that, moving towards further on that self-healing journey is really crucial. So yeah, that's what is, and that's all about AI, right? So we
It
cannot even
is.
think anything about AI now. So AI is on top of everyone's mind, and then yeah, we should use it. Yeah, take the value of it.
It's funny that you mentioned self-healing infrastructure or an automation with agentic AI because
Yeah.
I submitted a knowledge session this year around that. So hopefully it picks up so I can present it at knowledge. So,
Yeah,
but
maybe next time we present it together. Let's see.
yeah, we have some crazy ideas on how to achieve that with what we have available to us today. Just
Yeah.
again, going back to what you said, start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole key. Is if that's even just identifying the root cause of something with AI, right? That's more time spent solving the issue than it is actually trying to figure out what went wrong, right?
Yeah.
So
And when we are incorporating or when we want to incorporate agentic into anything, right? Anything, you need to have a foundation for that, right? So if I don't have the data or the foundations, what would my agentic AI will work on, right? Like I cannot put it up in the air and hey, just do the magic. No, it relies on the data, and data is crucial
yeah,
here, right?
yeah.
So that's why we should just think about all the data having in one place, clean data, so that whatever you are expecting your agentic AI to do, it can work. So that's our journey heading towards autonomous IT. I'm really hopeful we're going to achieve it, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So Anu just mentioned something, clean data, right? So the CMDB is great, but if it's not clean data out there, it's yeah, it's you're gonna have a hard time trusting that data, right? So
Exactly.
um I'm working with some customers now and cleaning up their data in the CMDB so that it can be trusted. They over the years they didn't have a good change management process
Yeah.
and it just kind of all those devices just kind of out there, right? All those CIs just out there, and
Yeah.
there's no action taken on them.
So
So,
going back to the first point, right? Have a governance around
exactly.
it. Have governance around it. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, governance. We got to have the process aligned with everything. Yeah. So, I mean, again, our customers are doing the right things. It's just in the order that they need to do them in, and making sure that they enforce some of these things is key, right? So,
Yeah.
and I am excited for the future of ITOM. I've seen ITOM grow as you have as well, right? So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but there's been a lot of changes over the years, and I'm excited for what's next because that allows infrastructure teams to build things faster and grow faster than
Yeah.
chasing down errors, chasing down different issues that are coming around. So
Yeah.
put more time back into the operations team, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, that's perfect. Now, we'll get into some of the other things here in a moment, but is there a story, a real world challenge that you've faced outside of what we've already talked about, that you may be able to share with us? Maybe it relates to a customer, maybe it doesn't, but I'd like to hear some of the challenges ServiceNow has encountered.
Yeah, I think it will align with the first few discussion points that we had, right? Because it's all ITOM, right? It's all interlinked, it's all related. But I'll start with something because then it makes easier to understand. Like usually, right? Everyone, all of our customers, right? Every human being or whoever uses internet might have observed it. So let's suppose, right, like if my Wi-Fi goes down, first I'm checking, oh, let me see, I mean, getting on my phone, or it is just my laptop, right? Let me restart the router, or let me do something. Okay, I have an AT&T Wi-Fi. Let me see if they have an outage, right? So all these activities happen just when one thing goes down, right?
Yeah.
And everyone can relate. Like it is a situation of a panic because I have an important meeting to attend, and now my Wi-Fi is not working. I'm dropped out of the call. I cannot do anything, right? So and that is on the similar lines where I'm going to say is before even we integrated. Because initially when we started with CMDB and event management, we never thought that, hey, all our AV devices, right, the conference rooms that ServiceNow have, they also need to be in CMDB. We were only looking at infrastructure components like the hardware,
Yeah.
assets, computers. AV was not as a priority to be in CMDB. But if then we thought about it, right? And if you think about it, you might not even have out of the box class to support it, right? Frankly,
True.
I haven't checked recently, maybe one today, but just think about it. Right now, that was an eye opener. Hey, we need to start managing the AV devices as well, because now we have conference rooms, right? We have a hardware that is connecting. Then these are all like SaaS vendor. Zoom is a SaaS vendor, right? We use some Logitech devices. We need to know if the hardware is malfunctioning or the software is malfunctioning.
Yeah.
So then we started thinking about all this, then we made sure, hey, let's work on it. The first thing is let's bring our AV devices and anything related to AV in ServiceNow platform, because we should start managing them as well. We cannot manage all these devices in spreadsheets, then we don't know the status of them, right? So that was the first step. And I think from there, we started the integration with the vendors, like Teams integration, whether it's Zoom integration, right? Have events coming in from other sources and correlate them so they can pinpoint the issue. That's the same thing is, right? Same situation, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi went down to get to a root cause, whether it's an outage from AT&T or T-Mobile, or whether it's actually something wrong in my house. It's a panic situation because I have important stuff to do. So think about the same thing, right? If I don't know whether it's actually downtime from a Zoom as a vendor itself, or it is something wrong in the hardware, then it's all a panic situation for entire service now.
Yeah.
So that's where we actually did that event correlation, event management, and for us created ourselves a single pane of glass just for AV, just for AV, to have events, alerts, even the status of based on their geography, right? Is this something happening only in US or it is impacting someone in overseas? I think that was one thing, I think, which is a real world example, I would say, is which we never thought about before, that hey, this is something we should manage and observe and just maintain. I think that's crucial now. And that is moving in a very good direction. And that will help us autonomous IT for AV, for sure, for AV devices. Yeah.
So you bring up a really good point around AV, right? And no one thinks about these things. I actually did an implementation with Amazon a few years back where we did exactly that. We discovered all their AV equipment across the entire globe.
Yeah.
That was one of my most exciting implementations because it was large, right? I mean, think
Yeah.
Amazon large, right? And but the challenge behind that was getting those devices discovered and put into the
Exactly.
CMDB. So how did you overcome some of those challenges?
I think some of the devices, as you pointedly said, right, are not even discoverable by CMDB. And I know ServiceNow is investing a lot in service graph connectors these days, right? So because they are more stable, right?
Yeah.
For us, wherever we could leverage discovery or service graph connector, we leveraged it. But some of the vendors, right, we have some of the vendors where there's no service graph connector available, or they are not discoverable because they don't work on SNMP like the typical any other
Right.
device would work, right? So if there is a centralized management tool, let's say any, whether it's Zoom, again, I'm taking the same name, Logitech, because we use a lot of their products. You have a centralized system which have the list of all the devices. We tried to go the API route wherever we can, because REST API provides you a lot of features, right? You don't have to wait for something to come out and just you cannot do it. Being a service now, for me, what is priority? If a product is available, obviously we are going to use it. But if ServiceNow has a capability to integrate with any platform, and that's what I love about it. So just integrate and just bring all of them in one place. I think that's what it is. And most of the things I think are out of the box available in event management, right? Via integration dashboard, you can look
Yeah.
at it. There's a lot available. So I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's exactly what we did. We used an API to do that and bring all those devices in. And at the time, data streams were just starting out and we utilized
Yeah.
that and that became really efficient pretty quickly. And so because we can bring in millions of devices, all the AV equipment added up a lot of CIs over time. So
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
expanded that out into other devices too.
Yeah, and
Um,
similar on the similar lines, right? We actually have a direct integration with Mist as well now. So think about like because then what we are doing is not just thinking about discovering a device, right? When we talk about the future as an autonomous, it's more about enabling self-service, enabling self-healing, right? So if like I'm in an office and I face some challenge, right, I can just directly start a conversation with virtual agent and say, hey, my device is not working, or like my Wi-Fi is not working. It can actually help you self-service because you have agentic first of all running, right? It can check the status, live status. Hey, you are connected to this switch or this router, and we see this is an issue, and it can take action for you, right? And that's the beauty for it. And eventually everything comes back to the foundation, right? You should have a CMDB. That's where a lot starts, and then you integrate with event management and have your agentic workers augment that on top of it to have that self-healing infrastructure. I think, yeah, all that have to all come together to make a really good dish, I would say, based on AI. So I think, yeah, that's how it is.
No, this is terrific, and I'm excited for what's, in the future of ITOM, but also the platform itself, right? I
Yeah,
mean, we have so many different opportunities out there. People's been around for a long time on the platform. You've seen it grow. You've seen it morph into what it is today. I just get blown away from that entire experience, and it's just, y- I'm excited for what's in store next year.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
But
Like I think when we started, right, when ServiceNow started its journey, right, it was, hey, just automating or just having a place to streamline your business processes, right?
yeah,
That's when we started, right? Just to streamline a business process, any business process and company has. And now over the years, it has grown and now being a one of the big players in AI space as well, I would say, right? It's like it's commendable and being proud of it. And I think this whole technology, AI will help us to achieve our as a now big bold outcomes. And I'm really like personally also I'm really looking forward to it. How we can scale better, right? How we can move faster
yeah,
and
yes.
how can we have more agility in our day-to-day work, right? With everything coming together. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. How can we grow and move faster at the pace of what AI is giving us, right? So,
Exactly.
and then having that, that foundation, those use cases, right? And I think without getting too far into the whole AI speak here, a lot of our customers are kind of scratching their head like, well, how can I use AI, right? How can I do that?
Yeah.
This conversation, this chat today was a perfect use case, customers, right? So let's
Yeah.
kind of put our heads together and figure out like what can you do as a customer, or what you're not doing today. How can ServiceNow's AI offerings benefit you to do better on the platform, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
um
I think digital transformation should be on everyone's mind, right? Once you think about digital transformation, that's where you just have AI on top of it to streamline and maybe have better automated processes in place. So I think I know when I talk to the customers, I think everyone, like based on if I go like 5 years back, not that many customers might be thinking about it, but the world is evolving. Everyone is changing. Everyone, like, especially our after COVID, right? Everyone is thinking about digital transformation in one way or the other. And I think that's a good way to progress further for any company, even for us, right? So yeah.
So some of the key takeaways today, guys, is start small, right? Start
Yeah.
somewhere, execute, and then find out how you can improve and build upon those, right? With the
Exactly.
features that we have available today on the platform, tons of features out there. You're going to benefit from it either way, even if you're not utilizing AI or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like there's going to be some opportunities that our customers are going to be able to take advantage of pretty quickly and see that value within their organization, right? So even if it's not ITOM, right? It could be anything. So,
Anything.
but this is a great conversation, and new. I'm glad to have you here. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well.
Always happy to share my thoughts. I think I love talking to you. Thank you for your time as well. One thing I would just add to what you just described, right? The key takeaways is I'll just add one more to it based on my personal experience. When I mentioned like I'm on the business side right now, I'm just trying to fit in the product and trying to learn the business vision as well, right? Considering that, I think I would say is it's always good to have people like the people you are choosing to implement ServiceNow or any platform, having people and having a mix of people who knows technology like platform and who know the business or who knows the
Yes.
domain. I think if you have mix of those, I think that would be definitely a very good way to invest to really reap the benefits of any platform, right? Whether it's ServiceNow or anything in general, Just always have the mix of domain experts, ServiceNow platform experts, so you can achieve your outcomes faster, I think.
I completely agree, right? It's all around in the organization, right? Top to bottom. And everyone works together as one team, right? At the end of the day. So great addition to the takeaways here. And again, pleasure having you. Hopefully you can come back again and talk. Maybe I'll see you at Knowledge this year. I don't know. But thank you for your time today, Anu. I really appreciate it. And anyone who's looking for some suggestions on how to implement Now Assist or any of the AI features on the platform, come visit us at fourdragons.com and we'll be more than happy to work with you.